The Dalai Lama has reportedly cancelled a proposed trip to South Africa this week after authorities failed to grant him a visa in time. And Police Minister Natim Tetwa says they are developing policy guidelines around public order policing. I'm Richard Brooks. The Dalai Lama has reportedly cancelled a proposed trip to South Africa this week after authorities failed to grant him a visa in time. It was announced by his office. Anti-apartheid leader Desmond Tutu had invited the Tibetan spiritual leader to give an inaugural peace lecture as part of celebrations for Tutu's 80th birthday on Friday. In a statement from the Dalai Lama's office in India, it says the spiritual leader was to depart for South Africa today, but visas have not yet been granted. Earlier, UJ's Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Professor Adam Habib, said the Dalai Lama visa application debacle made the South African government the subject of controversy. Professor Adam Habib believes the matter could have been handled differently.
Well, they could have handled it very simply by issuing a visa. And if China has any questions around that, it's a very simple thing. Archbishop Desmond Tutu has invited the Dalai Lama to come to a personal function, that this is a matter between two individuals, and that South Africa does not intervene to stop these kinds of processes. It is not a formal visit. It's a visit between any two individuals. The fact that we have intervened has meant that we are now the subject of controversy.
Police Minister Natim Tetwa says they are developing policy guidelines around public order policing to ensure that their approach to policing doesn't incite the kind of violence police seek to control in public protests. Tetwa was addressing a public order policing conference underway in Midrand, north of Joburg. The conference comes in the wake of public criticism of police's use of force and brutality during public protests. Chepo Pachane reports.
Mtetwa says in developing policy guidelines for public order policing, they want to ensure that their policing approach is in line with the Constitution, that there's effective peaceful crowd control, and that their approach doesn't enhance tensions between communities and police. Mtetwa says in many of these protests, people are armed with guns and petrol bombs, and therefore police need to be trained on how to deal with them. He says a special cadre of a police is needed to understand the seriousness of the situation on the ground and not cause violence. Mtetwa says it depends on the kind of police officer you recruit that determines the kind of police officer you will have.
The plight of impoverished rural communities of the Eastern Free State will come under scrutiny when President Jacob Zuma visits the region today. The President will inspect rural development projects in villages around Kwakwa. This is part of his monitoring and evaluation exercise, which is aimed at soliciting people's views about performance of provincial governments. Chepo Ekaneng reports.
Kwakwa is a peri-urban area situated in the Eastern Free State province. It's part of the Malutapofung local municipality, which also comprises the towns of Harrismith and Clarence. Malutapofung has the highest population density and is rated as the most poverty-stricken area in the Free State province. Poor service delivery has also sparked fierce revolt by communities who often embark on violent protests. Provincial Premier Isma Hashule has launched Operation Tlasela, a government initiative aimed at fast-tracking service delivery.
Catch the latest news anytime here on Newsbreak Option 1.